Just before I start with the video, thank you Didrik for being my executive producer, and if you, my dear viewer out there, would like to support just like him my channel and all the content I'm making here, check out the first link in the description down below. It will lead you to my Patreon page. If you're looking for an off-roader and for a 7-seater together, but at the same time also a luxury vehicle in which you can join also some more exclusive crowd, look no further, because that whip over here is the ideal car for you. The car I got over here is a Land Rover Discovery, 4th generation, with the TDV6 engine, 3-liter, 245 horsepower, yada yada yada. If you're driving this car, you will not care about the power it has, you will care about the things it can do. It is a 7-seater, it is a 4x4. It is luxurious, and on top of that, it's very unique because like the only competitor from that era was the Mercedes GL, or currently the Mercedes GLS. And to be honest with you, that car is, compared to the GL, a bargain, because at the used car market this car is not that expensive anymore. So you can fetch one, at least here in Switzerland, for around 15,000 Swiss francs and above. This one is the HSE model, like as you saw on the boot lid over here. That means it is the top of the range model, and as such it gets 7 seats, all with leather upholstery, 3rd row air conditioning, or better said 3rd row air conditioner adjustment, keyless entry, air suspension, a flawless 6-speed automatic transmission, adaptive xenon headlamps, 360-degree camera, and so on. Now, people who buy this, they don't care that much about the design. Yes, it is a box, it is a huge fridge on wheels, but that car can go anywhere, because obviously it's a Land Rover. So without further adu, let's go right to the car and open up the door. So I'm not a very big fan of its exterior because it looks just so boxy, I don't know. But I mean, I drive myself a boxy car, a Kia Soul. But I don't care that much about the exterior. I care more about the inner things what offers this car, such as memory seats for the driver, a Harman Kardon sound system, and by the way, the seats adjusts in 12 different ways, so even the fussiest person can enjoy a comfortable seating position. Also, the steering wheel can be also electrically adjusted. Now let's go in because outside it gets quite noisy. So as you can see, it is a car which has a little bit on the higher side in terms of mileage. And I mean, for a diesel, it's pretty okay because this car is almost 13 years old, so this is still in a good condition. And the steering wheel, well, the usual affair. It offers cruise control, Bluetooth and voice commands, but the voice commands are pretty useless to say the very least. And up here, well, you got 4 mirrors, both of them illuminated. Not the trouble at all. Electrochromatic mirror, as expected as it is in this segment. Up here, well, sunroof can be also opened up here. Well, I have to turn the ignition on, so you can also pull this up so that you can actually put your hand out of the sunroof. The aperture is not that big. Well, My hands are tiny, and as you can see, not that much to say the very least. Let's close it again. Yeah, I mean, the car has a lot of stuff to offer. Like, the sound system is flawless because it's Harman Kardon, like the bass and like the treble, everything just sounds so much on point. It also got like a CD player, so for people who are like audiophiles like me, they will definitely appreciate it, because like the quality of the auxiliary input isn't the best, and also you cannot listen with Bluetooth from your phone. You can only use it for calling someone, but not for playing music or other media. Of course, front heated seats, parking sensors in the front as well, combined with the 360-degree camera, auto climate condition for all three rows. Like here in the front you got 2 zones, and then the rear zone is a separate one. And one thing what is especially really nice in the winter is this thing right here, namely the front defrost with the little wires in the glass. I mean, you cannot see them very well, do you? But anyway, this is a technology from Ford, because they have it also almost exclusively in their cars. And this one was also developed in the time when Land Rover was a part of Ford. So that's why they got this option as well. Otherwise it would be just a regular front defrost blower. Then here's like the center console area. Well, the center console is pretty deep. Can even store CDs and so on inside. And here you got like here for your old iPod, and here for the USB input. I like this one over here because this divides also some stuff what you can put here, like some little things which you can easily access, and then the deeper stuff is below. Really good center console. Here there are like 2 rather deep cup holders. Here you can store like 2 small bottles, 0.5 liters, and here you can put in a Red Bull can, 0.25. Easy, very nice thing. And also, but usually when you have this, you just put some other stuff in there, don't you? And here, really nice for garage opener. Here for the key fob, where you can store it in. This is the party piece right here. If you're planning to go off-roading, like you got here the drive mode selectors, where you can for regular drive, for snow, for forest, for sand, and for rocks. I mean, this is a multi-talent, but I think it would be just a pity if you're driving with this car in that terrain. And here, this is also really nice if you want to enter a car park which has a limited height, because this one with the maximum height, it is 1.97 meters. And if it's like, for example, 1.95, you can lower it with the air suspension here. And also the air suspension is very comfortable, and it never failed once, even with that many kilometers. I think Mercedes can cut a piece from Land Rover in that department. And here it's also for like hill descent control, and this one as well, like for driving all the way down, combined with this hill descent control. And of course, electronic parking brake. So this frees a lot of space here in the interior. Now here, 2 glove boxes. Here's a smaller one, and here's the bigger one, and both of them are generously sized. Like here you can also store more things than just the handbook and the warranty booklet as well. And here also some storage space, really nice. And the door bins, well, you can store a 1.5 liter bottle in it, but it's a little bit shallow, so it can shake quite a lot. But then elsewhere it is full length, well, almost full length, but it is very decent. Like you can store almost everything in there. Like even if you're off-roading, some maps would not be bad if you can store in there, or maybe some food, some snacks and so on. basically storage options are abundant in this car. And of course, 2 separate armrests, which you can adjust with this wheel, even for the fussiest people who want, like me, to have their hand and their elbow as close to the steering wheel for a relaxed driving position. So I turn on quickly the car so that you can see how it sounds like. Yeah, the wiper fluid is low. Gotta turn it off. Turn off the aircon. So this is the trip computer, 625 kilometers. The car is almost full. With an average fuel tank, you can go around 650 to 700 kilometers. And like, okay, the current average fuel consumption is at around 10.3 kilometers. If you're driving on the motorway relaxed with 110, 120, you can get like 9 liters or 9.5 liters, but if you're doing more spirited driving, it can be like 11.5 or 12 liters per 100 kilometers. Yeah. Now, here are the options, like for example, navigation, phone, audio and video. 4x4 info is pretty interesting, so you have a couple of options in there, which you can see with the driving modes. Select them as well. Yeah, this is pretty comprehensive, something what I would never use myself. Here are the cameras. Well, the resolution is not the best. I mean, you can also zoom in. It's pretty okay, I must say. Here, like with the rear view camera, I think it's okay. You can even zoom in and zoom out. But for a 2009 car, this is like a really nice thing, not gonna lie here. Here's like the gear selector. Got also manual mode with 6 speeds, which you can choose by yourself, and also the regular sport mode. And the reverse camera, of course, engages when you put in the reverse gear, and it has also dynamic guidelines. Very nice. All right, let's open up the door and open up the engine. Nothing too special in here, just too many covers so that the noise is kept at a minimum. And also, you see the vibrations. Of course it's a V6, but I mean, it's a diesel. Of course it clatters quite a lot. And hydraulic struts, of course. No complaints at all. All right, the sun is coming back. I'm just going to turn off the car so that the neighbors will not complain, because after all, this is Switzerland, and if you're leaving just your car idling, you can get fined. We'll go quickly around to the passenger side. As you can see, here it has like just 8-way adjustment, but even this is pretty nice. It doesn't need more. And of course you have the manual lumbar support with this little wheel over here. In terms of safety, this car has no ADAS features, no blind spot monitoring, nothing like that. It has like 6 airbags, traction control, vehicle stability control, and all this hanky-panky stuff for off-road driving. And now let's get all the way into the back seat. Even here, same story, nice materials, just as in the front, leather covering here, some really nice wood over there. Here is also leather, door handle also leather. This is either, it feels like proper metal, but it can be plastic as well, but it just feels very posh and very nice to the touch. This is like plastic and satin finish, looks really nice. Here, This is kind of the soft touch plastic here, all the way until here where you have this knocky plastic. And you see it's a little bit scratched, but just take a heat gun and be very careful, and then it will look good as new. Here, 3 individual seats. Now this is something what is pretty rare, and I think this is something what all manufacturers should do instead of placing a bench seat inside. So let's get in. It's a little bit high to enter the car. Like, for older people it might not be as suitable, but I mean, it is pretty comfortable in here. I'm 178 centimeters tall, and I got like 1.5 fists of leg room. I can slouch here my feet underneath the seat, and you see here I can put even my feet on the side with my 43 sized European size feet. Very nice. Here, rear aircon blowers from the bottom. Ironically, the auxiliary input is here, which I do not understand why, but I think it's okay. It's not bothersome, it's just a very interesting place where to put it. And of course, heated rear seats, a little bit of storage area down there, also 2 cup holders. The seat pockets are rather deep as well on both sides. There are also aircon blowers in the back. Really good stuff. You can also twist them around for your desired direction. And here, if you do not have the automatic climate control turned on in the front, you can adjust it by yourself via those knobs. And as far as I'm concerned, this is an optional feature. I don't know why, but I mean, come on, like, either you spec it to the fullest or you just don't get one at all. I don't understand why would someone go for a mid-range model anyway. And here you can also put the seats down like this. And if you want to make a flat load bed, you just pull on the latch in the front and then push it down. So in case if you want to load bigger, taller, and longer items, you can just fold all 3 seats down this way, and the rear seats, they will fold all the way down into the boot, but I'm not going to show that right now because I think the main strength of this car is just the rear seats as well. And I mean, here, of course, it's a rather short bench, but I mean, you will sit comfortably as long as the person in front is not like a 2-meter tall adult. But I mean, even here, if you're checking how much headroom I have, it's amazing. It's just a really nice place to sit in. It's very roomy. It doesn't feel gloomy at all. Really good. The only thing what I might miss here is like a center armrest, but I'm not complaining. You can still fold the seat down and it's going to be fine. And of course here, the armrest on the door, very comfortable too. Cannot complain at all. So let's go over into the rear seats. And by doing so, you have to do this. Pull on the trigger here. Goes all the way down. You find a latch down there. Pull it, and then it opens up this aperture, and it's not as difficult as it seems like to enter. So just climb up with 1 foot, sorry, and you're here. Now let me just close the door. And put this down here and pull it up. So now you see here my feet, they have enough space. I can slouch my feet underneath the front seats, and I have enough room, even though the bench here in the back is very short. I mean, come on, it is not a lot, but the
seat cushion is very comfy and you're not sitting too much upright, and you can slouch even a little bit and you will still feel comfortable. I mean, the seat looks more like a jump seat on an airplane, but I mean, you can trust me, this seat is very comfortable. Even on longer drives, you will not feel uncomfortable with it. And rest assured that you're also going to have enough space for your amenity, like for your stuff, like for your devices, for your drinks, and even you got here an aircon blower for the third row. And of course, the speakers and the curtain airbags are going all the way to the back. And even up there, you have also one part of your sunroof with a sunshade as well. Yeah, a bit flimsy. And here, of course, a reading light as well. Even a door handle. Well, no, not door handle, but you know, the oh my god handle. Very nice. And here, of course, you have some dedicated storage for some other things. And even here in the back, you can also you have here the tire jack and all that stuff what you hopefully not need because it's only for emergency purposes. And I must say, I'm perfectly fine in the back, and judging by the headroom what I have here, like if I'm slouched down, I still have like this tiny bit much, but if I'm sitting upright, might be a bit tight. But of course, if you're in the back, like if you're 180, you will definitely not struggle in the back. It's going to be actually very comfortable. But if you're like above 185, I recommend that you sit in the second or even in the first row. That's just my 2 cents for that. And I mean, you have a really nice view towards the rest of the cabin, and I mean, it's very airy, big windows, absolutely nothing to complain about. And even if you want to exit the third row, very simple, not a struggle at all. Just be careful that you're not going to scratch anything here or that you're just getting dirty. And I mean, here, well, it's an older car, the rubber seals, they're not lasting forever. And now the tailgate, I must say, when it opens up in 2 parts. In order to open up the second part, you need to do this. And I mean, the boot is not that big if you have all 7 seats folded up. I mean, you can put in like 2 small suitcases or 1 big suitcase and that's it. But you have still enough space where you can store your tonneau cover and all the other things. Like, I must say, this is pretty big compared to some other cars, but we mustn't forget this car is primarily built to be an off-roader, even though it might look better if you're driving it around Zurich as a luxury vehicle. To be honest with you, I really like the way how it looks like. Even the rims, they're very classy, nothing to fault at them. Even like the dedicated air vents at the side, really nice. But I like the front the most because of this kind of honeycomb pattern on the grille, and of course the Land Rover inscription. Like the newer models, they get just Discovery, but this one is like an older model, that's why it says Land Rover. Honestly, I think this is a very honest car, and it is loaded with so much spec, and it just looks so premium even from the inside with all the materials. I mean, come on, you cannot fault this car at all, especially if you're buying it for a used price. But even if you buy such a car brand new, it is still going to be priced lower than the competition. Like current competition of the new Discovery include the BMW X7, the Mercedes GLS, and I think that's it actually, because I cannot think more about those big proper 3-row SUVs on our European market here in the premium segment. So what do you think about this car? Do you think it looks really nice, or do you think let's get instead a different car for the money? Write it down in the comment section down below. I will be very glad for your inputs. Right, now it's time to take the car onto the motorway so that we can see how quickly it accelerates and how quiet it is on higher speeds. And this is one of the classic problems right here. Instead of accelerating here on the motorway, people are just braking on the acceleration on the ramp, and I'm just wondering why. Why are they doing this? It just slows the whole traffic down, and to me it's ununderstandable. But hey, people are just too afraid to drive for some reason. I just don't get it. All right. Put it into S for sport mode and go over. Oh man, come on. I'm braking and the steering wheel is shaking. Probably needs a new wheel alignment, but other than that, well, it's doing fine. The bumps, they're not feelable. You do not feel them when you're driving over them. I don't know if feelable is actually a word. Yeah, bruh. English is not my native language after all. So from what I can say is this car is extremely comfortable to drive. It's not for spirited driving. Of course, you can tuck on, accelerate, and then you're already at 120. No problem at all. It has grunts. If you accelerate like crazy, it will also squeeze you into the seats. Very nice. And on top of that, it's not even that bad with fuel economy. 9.7 liters. Normally when you do spirited driving, 11.5 and 12 is the norm. But if you're doing like mostly motorway, highway drive, that's what you get. I think you can even get it at around 9 liters per 100. And mind you, this is a diesel. If this was the petrol powered engine with the V8, well, 12 would be the minimum, and then like 15, 16 would be the norm. But with this one, well, cannot complain at all. It's a really good engine, very smooth to drive. Also, never caused any real issues. The gearbox could be a bit better. It's usually flawless, but it's not as great as it is supposed to be, because like this gearbox is a 6-speed auto torque converter, of course, but the gearbox, well, sometimes it shifts like very abruptly and you feel it already. I notice right now that I do not really feel confident driving this car with this poor wheel alignment. Well, gotta get it done at some point. Yeah. Noise level, it's quite low. Noise in here, like, I mean, you obviously hear the wind noise. I mean, most apparent wind noise would be if you have like a box on the top of your car and the wind going between the box and the car, like underneath the sunroof, above the sunroof and underneath the box, you hear very intrusive wind noise. But with that car, not having one right now, it's just extremely calm. You will not even notice that much that it is a diesel until you really press on the throttle. And even on idle, the car is very quiet. The insulation really is working, like in the doors, in the engine bay. Very good. And even now in jam, No problem driving with it, even though it has no ADAS. That wasn't even a thing back then. Was a very luxury thing, like no adaptive cruise control. It has a rain sensor, it has a regular cruise control, and that's it. Like, that's something what you can consider what's normal spec for that time of the release. And I mean, the side mirrors are gigantic, you have very good visibility. Even like the windows, the pillars are rather thin. Like, the only thing what I would have liked more is that the mirrors are mounted on the doors, because that would increase the visibility and minimize the blind spot. But for me, this is absolutely no problem. I'm going to take the exit right here and then just turn around, because like I obviously see that I got into a jam, Liao. Yeah. Some people would say, Singter Puig, used car is the best. With this one, I might not be so sure. Like, if you want a cheaper car, which is luxurious, you can get it. Like, this car is definitely a really good car to drive. And of course, that Land Rover has like some sort of sketchy reliability. I mean, that car is still performing pretty well. I mean, here and there it has some flaws, like the interior is a little bit squeaky, but things are not falling apart. It's just like you need to take care of the vehicle itself so it doesn't get neglected. And in those cases, just buy a brand new car if you really want to have a flawless vehicle. But if you want to have like a car, what is a good 7-seater, what is a good all-wheel drive, or better said 4-wheel drive in that case, car, there is very little to fault at it. And I mean, you get what you pay for. Heck, you get even more than that. Like, I mean, for that price point, you cannot even get, like the starting price point, you cannot even get a decent brand new car here in Switzerland. And 15,000 Swiss francs for such a car? Hell yeah, baby. I'd be up for it. Let's give it a little bit throttle and go back onto the motorway. See, the only thing what you can get for like that price point, which is rather decent, would be the car in front. A Mitsubishi Space Star, or in other markets the Mirage. Fairly decent car, 6 airbags, all the safety systems, 5 years warranty, reverse camera, got also ADAS systems, and if you go for the top of the range model. And I mean, for that price point, it's a really nice car. But if you want a 7-seater, if you want something what's more comfortable to drive, more premium, more atas, just get this one. Such a really nice car. Honestly, I enjoy driving it, and it's just a breeze, except for the wheel alignment, but that's something what can get fixed without any problems. I think you can hear now a little bit of the wind noise, but that's like on the normal side of wind noise. It's not that bad. Have witnessed a lot worse cars than that one. Yeah, you see, I'm braking and the steering wheel is shaking, even though this is like more of a steering which is on the harder side, more on the firmer side. And I think this is because it's a hydraulic power steering. Like, you also hear like the hydraulic pump when you're at the very end of the turning circle. That's why it's not very suitable for city drive. But if you're driving on a motorway, 110, 120, very comfortable. It's It's not hurting anyone. For spirited driving, it's also not ideal. It's just a wonderful highway cruiser. A wonderful highway cruiser. And people who say it's difficult to drive a big car, that car is so huge, cannot park anywhere. Actually, or even around town, or if you're a petite person, like a 155 tall woman who is driving this car, let me tell you one thing that has absolutely nothing to do with driving a car. See, you do not need like muscles in order to turn the steering. It's like, even for me, like, I'm not the strongest person in the house, and I must say it's driving really nice. And even for a petite person or a gigantic person, this car is just really good. Considering that it is so big. And about parking, want to go over the curb? No problem. This car can withstand curbs. You will not have to worry about scratching your tires or wheels. It's very nice. Like, you can just climb up without any issues at all, and even with the 360-degree camera, very easy to park. You see all the guidance lines. It's just very easy to use it, and I mean, it's not ideal because of the size of the car to park it in the city, and also because of the height, but air suspension, you can lower the car and then no problem at all. And I guess I got into a jam, and that's not really good. Big L moment for me. Big L. But even in jam, it's okay. It doesn't have automatic or adaptive cruise control. It's just driving without too much acceleration, like you do not have to press all the way down because of the turbo lag. I mean, honestly, I really cannot complain about the car. It just drives really well, and really a very honest car. A very honest car. Stay tuned, and I hope to see you for the next time. Bye bye.